Hello everybody, this is Crocodile1991 here, and for tonight's review, I will be focusing on the Mojo, Alligator and Crocodile. Now despite these modern day animals are still with us to this very day, I actually got these off everythingdinosaur.com, and thus these archosaurs were around during the age of dinosaurs, that being the Mesozoic era, and they'll look great in any dinosaur collection. Also they are my favourite species of reptiles, as I like seeing a living dinosaur, well, living non-avian dinosaur to be more accurate, but still they're throwbacks to the Mesozoic. Also, even though I got these off everythingdinosaur.com, they sadly do not come with any fact sheets, which is a shame. First up is the alligator, to which I believe is the cousin to the crocodile, but are native to America and China. The colour schemes for these animals is a dark bluish colour, and Mojo's model reflects this perfectly well, unlike the Schleich figure, and the underbelly is a creamy white. The articulation on the model isn't really the best, but even if I could close it fully, I would still keep it open regardless, because it does look a lot cooler. Sorry if you can hear the outside world, I've got the windows open, because it's red hot today. Anyways, hopefully my voice will drown all that out. Anyway, the pose portrays him on the prowl. Perhaps he has spotted prey, such as small mammals. He does have a look of hunger in his eyes. The Mojo alligator is one of the best interpretations of the swamp reptile, and there are lots of alligator figures out there on the market. However, I would recommend the Mojo version, as well as the collector figure. As for what species Mojo has based their alligator on, well, if I were to guess, I'm gonna say the American alligator. Up next is the crocodile, and I actually think that I like this one over the alligator. I may be biased on that one, because I'm more of a crocodile enthusiast, but I still love alligators nonetheless. In fact, I'm a fan of both. But I digress. The paint job portrays him in green and tan yellow, and while yes, crocodiles do look good in green, especially in cartoons, however in reality they're actually a greenish colour, but the idea is still there. The jaw articulation on him is slightly better than the alligators, even though it's still not quite, but I still like to display it open, as you can see. He is posed facing up, perhaps he is eyeing prey, or maybe he is getting up after a long rest, and crocodiles do rest with their mouths open. It's their way of panting. However, there's also the possibility that he could actually be defending himself from an attacking predator, like say baryonyx. I'm not sure what species Mojos have based their crocodiles on. It's either the saltwater or Nile crocodile. However, regardless of what species this represents, it's still a fantastic looking crocodile figure. He reminds me a lot of the collector model. That just might be the pose that he's in, hence why I don't have the collector croc in the collection at present. But I do, however, have the miniature version of the crocodile from the Mini Reptiles tube set that I did a review on last year. The link is in the description below, in case you're interested. But I do like the Mojo crocodile a lot more. Now for size comparisons. Well, let's compare him to some other alligator and crocodile figures that I own in the collection. One of them being the Papo White/Albino crocodile, which was actually the very first model to be reviewed on the channel. And I do plan to revisit that particular figure with the Safari Limited version soon. Link to the originals in the description below. And also here they are with the Papo Alligator Snapping Turtle. So what are my final thoughts on the Mojo Alligator and Crocodile? These are truly great figures, especially if you're an enthusiast on these animals like I am. I know that this has only been a short review, and that's because unlike the larger models, such as the dinosaurs, kaiju and dragons, etc and so on, where there's a lot to say on those, there's really not much notification with these figures. However, they are both really nice, and recommendable especially if you're a reptilian enthusiast like myself. This is Dragonzilla1991 signing out. Take care, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.